Passive income is a myth until you build the machine. What if everything you believed about passive income was designed to keep you broke? Here is the brutal truth that nobody in the financial freedom space wants to admit. Passive income does not exist in the beginning. It is one of the most dangerously misleading concepts sold to desperate people who are looking for an escape from their 9-to-5 jobs. The word passive implies that you do nothing, that money simply flows into your bank account while you sleep on a beach somewhere in Bali. But here is what they conveniently forget to tell you. Before anything becomes passive, someone had to build an incredibly active blood and sweat machine that generates that income. Think about rental properties. People call it passive income, but someone had to save the down payment, research the market, deal with contractors, manage tenants, and handle maintenance. Think about YouTube channels people call passive. Someone filmed hundreds of videos before a single dollar appeared. The problem is not the concept of passive income. The problem is the order in which people approach it. They want the harvest before they plant the seeds. They want the river to flow before they build the dam. Real passive income is the result of an enormous amount of active, painful, consistent, and strategic work done up front. The machine does not build itself. You build it, and then it runs for you. You cannot outsource effort you have never done yourself. What if the reason your passive income stream keeps failing is because you are trying to skip the part where you actually learn the skill? This is one of the most uncomfortable truths about building any income stream that eventually runs on autopilot. People rush to hire teams, buy courses, and delegate tasks before they have ever personally mastered what they are delegating. And this creates a catastrophic problem. You cannot manage what you do not understand. You cannot judge the quality of work from people you hire if you have never done the work yourself. You cannot identify when your systems are broken if you have never operated those systems with your own hands. Imagine hiring a marketing team without understanding marketing yourself. They show you reports filled with metrics, and you nod your head pretending to understand because you are too embarrassed to admit you have no idea what conversion rates or CPMs mean. That is not building a business. That is paying someone to confuse you professionally. The entrepreneurs who successfully build passive income streams are always the ones who first worked insanely hard to master the core skill themselves. They wrote every email. They made every sales call. They fulfilled every client order. They understood the machine from the inside out before they hired anyone to operate it. Passive income is not for people who avoid hard work. It is the reward for people who did the hard work better than anyone else around them. The leverage game, how real wealth actually works. What if instead of chasing multiple income streams, you focused all your energy on building one thing so well that it naturally created leverage? Everyone talks about multiple income streams like it is the secret formula for wealth, but here is what the data actually shows. Most wealthy people built their fortune from one primary income source first, and then they diversified. The concept of leverage is what separates people who build genuine passive income from people who just keep adding more active work under a different label. Leverage comes in 4 forms: labor leverage, capital leverage, media leverage, and code leverage. Labor leverage means other people work for you. Capital leverage means money works for you. Media leverage means content works for you. Code leverage means software works for you. The average person chasing passive income never builds any of these leverage points. They buy a course, try dropshipping for 3 months, fail, then pivot to affiliate marketing, fail again, then try Amazon FBA, and wonder why nothing is working. The answer is concentration. You need to concentrate your energy like sunlight through a magnifying glass on one specific leverage point until it burns through. Once you have that one source of income working so efficiently that it requires minimal active input from you, that is when you have earned the right to build the second stream. Passive income is not built wide, it is built deep. The compounding trap, why most people quit right before the breakthrough. What if the only reason you have not achieved passive income yet is because you stopped 3 feet from the gold? This is one of the most heartbreaking patterns in entrepreneurship and wealth building. People understand the concept of compounding intellectually, but they fundamentally underestimate how long the compounding curve stays flat before it explodes upward. They plant seeds, water them for 60 days, see nothing growing above the soil, and decide the seeds are bad. They switch seeds, they change soil, they try a different garden entirely, and they repeat this cycle for years, never understanding that the bamboo tree grows underground for 4 years before it shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Passive income works exactly like compounding interest. In the beginning, the returns are almost insultingly small. You create content for 6 months and make $47. You build an email list for a year and sell 12 products. You invest in assets for 3 years, and your returns seem laughably small compared to the time you invested. But here's what changes everything. Once the compounding kicks in, it accelerates faster than you can possibly predict. The people who are making $10,000 a month in passive income are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They simply refuse to quit during the flat part of the compounding curve. Your breakthrough is not behind you. It is directly in front of you, hidden behind the very next day you feel like giving up. Systems over hustle. The architecture of automated income. What if the entire hustle culture you have been consuming was actually designed to keep you on a treadmill instead of building a vehicle? There is a critical distinction between working hard and working architecturally. Working hard means you are the engine. Working architecturally means you are the engineer who designs the engine and then steps back while it runs. Most people never make this transition because they are addicted to being needed. They feel productive when they are busy. They feel important when everything depends on them. But this psychological trap is the single biggest barrier between where they are and genuine passive income. A system is a documented, repeatable process that produces a consistent result without requiring your direct involvement every single time. When you have systems, a customer can purchase your product at 3 a.m. without you being awake. A client can onboard into your service without you personally welcoming them. Your content can attract new audiences without you posting something new that day. Building systems is not glamorous work. It is writing standard operating procedures that nobody will ever read except the person you hire. It is creating templates, checklists, automations, and workflows that feel boring to build but feel like magic when they run. The people who complain that passive income is a myth are the same people who never sat down to build the systems that make income passive. They wanted the freedom without doing the architectural work that freedom requires. Systems are not optional. They are the entire point. The identity shift. You cannot build passive income with an employee mindset. What if the biggest obstacle between you and financial freedom is not your strategy, not your capital, and not your market, but your identity? This is the deepest and most overlooked truth about passive income. You cannot build an automated, self-sustaining income machine if you fundamentally see yourself as someone who trades time for money. That identity is so deeply embedded in most people that it subconsciously sabotages every attempt they make at building something that runs without them. An employee mindset asks, how many hours do I need to work? An owner mindset asks, how do I make this work without my hours? An employee mindset looks for security. An owner mindset builds security. An employee mindset needs permission. An owner mindset creates opportunity. The shift from employee to owner is not a strategy shift. It is a complete psychological reconstruction of how you see yourself, how you see money, and how you see your relationship with time. People with employee mindsets will build passive income streams and then unconsciously destroy them because deep down they do not believe they deserve income without earning it through suffering. They will overcomplicate their systems. They will micromanage their teams. They will insert themselves back into every process because sitting still feels irresponsible. The identity shift required to build and maintain passive income is the hardest work you will ever do, and it happens entirely inside your own head before a single dollar ever moves. What if everything you have been told about passive income is the most expensive lie you have ever believed, and the people selling you that lie are getting rich from your confusion while you stay exactly where you are? I want you to sit with that question for a second, because the passive income industry, the courses, the YouTube thumbnails showing guys on laptops on beaches, the Instagram posts about making money while sleeping, that entire industry is worth billions of dollars. And the ironic, almost poetic truth is this: the only people making truly passive income in that space are the people selling you the dream of passive income. Let that land. Now, I am not here to tell you that passive income is impossible. I am here to tell you something far more valuable. I am going to tell you what passive income actually is, how it actually works, and why 97% of people who chase it will never achieve it. Not because they are not smart enough, not because they do not work hard enough, but because they fundamentally misunderstand what they are building and in what order they should be building it. So let us start with the most uncomfortable truth in this entire conversation. Passive income does not exist at the beginning. It only exists at the end, and everything in between is the most active, painful, frustrating, unglamorous work you will ever do in your life. The word passive describes the outcome, not the process. And the problem is that every single piece of content about passive income focuses on the outcome. The dashboard showing 4 figures a day, the bank notification at 3 a.m., the laptop lifestyle, while completely ignoring the 3, 5, sometimes 10 years of brutally active work that created those outcomes. When someone shows you their rental property income, they do not show you the 18 months they spent saving the down payment while working 2 jobs. They do not show you the contractor who disappeared with $20,000. They do not show you the tenant who destroyed the bathroom and stopped paying rent simultaneously. They show you the check. And your brain connects passive income to the check and completely disconnects it from everything that preceded the check. This is not an accident. This is a business model built on your selective perception. Here is what I need you to understand about how passive income is actually built. Everything passive starts as something intensely active. Every rental property started as someone doing deep market research, building credit, saving capital, learning real estate fundamentals, and making offers on dozens of properties before one deal closed. Every YouTube channel making $10,000 a month in ad revenue started as someone filming in their bedroom with terrible audio for 2 years before the algorithm decided they were worth recommending. Every digital product making sales on autopilot started as someone who deeply understood their customers' pain, wrote and rewrote their sales page 40 times, drove traffic manually until they understood what converted, and then, only then, began automating the system. The machine does not build itself. You have to build the machine. And building the machine is the most active thing you will ever do. Now here is where it gets even more specific. And this is the part that most people in this space will never tell you because it threatens their product sales. You cannot outsource effort you have never done yourself. This is devastating for people who want to start at the top, who want to hire a team before they understand the job, who want to automate a process before they have personally done the process enough times to know what good looks like. You cannot manage what you do not understand. Full stop. If you have never written a single piece of marketing copy yourself, you cannot effectively evaluate the copy your hired writer produces. If you have never made a single sales call, you cannot build a sales team that converts at a high rate. If you have never fulfilled a single client yourself, you cannot build a fulfillment system that delivers exceptional results. The entrepreneurs I have watched build genuinely passive income streams all share one characteristic that nobody talks about. They were obsessively, irrationally, embarrassingly hands-on in the beginning. They did everything. They answered every customer email. They made every product themselves. They ran every ad. They analyzed every data point. And because they did everything, they eventually understood everything. And because they understood everything, they could systematize everything. And because they systematized everything, they could eventually step back from everything. That is the sequence. Active, then systematic, then passive. Not passive first. But here is the piece that kills most people, even when they understand this sequence. The compounding problem. Passive income runs on the same mathematical principle as compounding interest. And compounding interest has a curve that is psychologically brutal to live through. The curve stays almost completely flat for a very long time. The returns in the beginning are so small they feel insulting. You pour in enormous amounts of time, energy, money, and focus, and what comes back looks like nothing. 6 months of content creation, and you have 400 subscribers. A year of email list building, and your list has 800 people. 2 years of consistent investing, and your portfolio has grown by an amount that would not even cover 3 months of your expenses. And this is the exact moment where 97% of people quit. They look at the flat part of the compounding curve and they conclude that the strategy is wrong. So they pivot, they try something new, they start a new channel, they chase a different income stream, and the clock resets. The curve starts flat again, and the cycle repeats. The 3% who push through the flat part, who do not quit, do not pivot, do not second guess the compounding principle. Those are the people you see 6 years later who genuinely do wake up to money in their accounts. And when you ask them their secret, they say something that sounds embarrassingly simple. They say they just kept going when everyone else stopped. That is it. That is the secret. Now let me give you the architectural piece that transforms active income into passive income. Because without this, everything I have said is just inspirational noise. Systems. The entire game is systems. A system is a documented, repeatable process that produces a consistent result without requiring your personal involvement every time it runs. When you have real systems in place, a customer can discover you, purchase from you, receive your product, consume your product, get results from your product, and refer other customers to you, all without you being awake, let alone involved. That is not a fantasy. That is engineering. But here is what I observe. Most people who claim they want passive income are actually terrified of systems. Not because systems are complicated, but because systems require something that is psychologically threatening. They require you to not be needed. And for people who have built their identity around being the hardest worker in the room, around being the person everyone depends on, around being the engine that drives everything forward, the idea of building a machine that does not need them is genuinely threatening on a psychological level. They will build the system and then break it. They will write the process document and then ignore it. They will hire the team member and then micromanage them into uselessness. Because somewhere deep in their psychology, they believe that income they did not suffer for is not really theirs. That money they did not earn through personal exhaustion is somehow fraudulent. And this brings me to the deepest truth in this entire conversation, the one that makes everything else either work or not work. You cannot build passive income with an employee mindset. An employee mindset is not about where you work. It is about how you think. It is a set of deeply held beliefs about the relationship between time, effort, and money. An employee mindset believes that money is compensation for time. An employee mindset believes that good performance means staying busy. An employee mindset believes that stepping back means being lazy. An employee mindset needs external validation that the work being done is correct and approved. An owner mindset operates on completely different axioms. An owner mindset believes that money is a result of value created, not time spent. An owner mindset judges performance by outcomes, not by hours. An owner mindset understands that the goal is to do less, not more, but to ensure that the less they do creates more impact than the more everyone else is doing. An owner mindset does not need permission and does not need validation. It runs on conviction and data. The transition from employee mindset to owner mindset is not a strategy course. It is not a book you read over a weekend. It is a complete, uncomfortable, disorienting reconstruction of your fundamental beliefs about yourself and your relationship with money. It is the hardest work you will ever do because you cannot see it, you cannot measure it easily, and nobody will give you a gold star for doing it. But it is the only work that actually matters, because you can have the perfect strategy, the perfect market, the perfect product, and a genuinely passive income system. And an employee mindset will quietly, methodically dismantle it every single time. So here's what I want you to take from this. Passive income is real, but it is not what you have been sold. It is not easy. It is not fast. It is not the result of finding the right hack or the right platform or the right guru. It is the result of building something valuable enough, systematizing it completely enough, and protecting the compounding curve long enough that the machine eventually starts running without you. The path looks like this. Master the skill deeply yourself, build the system that delivers the skill at scale, hire and train people to operate the system, remove yourself from the daily operations, and then protect and grow the machine while you build the next one. That is not a shortcut. That is the only cut. And the people who told you there was a shortcut, they found their passive income. It came from selling you the idea that one existed. The truth about passive income is simple, but it is not easy. You must work actively before you can earn passively. You must understand deeply before you can delegate effectively. You must build systems before you can build freedom. You must survive the flat part of the compounding curve before you can experience the explosive part. And you must reconstruct your identity from someone who earns through effort to someone who earns through leverage. None of this is overnight. None of this is glamorous. All of it is worth it. The people living the life you want are not different from you in talent or intelligence. They are different in patience, in discipline, and in their willingness to keep building when the results are invisible. Build the machine. Protect the compounding. Shift the identity. The passive income you want is on the other side of the active work you have been avoiding. What if the reason you are still broke is not because you are lazy, not because you are unlucky, and not because the economy is against you, but because someone very smart sold you a beautifully packaged lie about how money actually works and you believed it because it felt so good to believe? What if passive income, the dream they sold you, the laptop on the beach, the notifications while you sleep, what if all of that is real, but the part they forgot to show you is the 5 years of unglamorous, unsexy, painful, lonely work that made it real? What if the only difference between the person you are watching on that YouTube thumbnail and where you are sitting right now is not luck, not connections, not starting capital, but simply the decision to stop looking for the shortcut and start building the machine? What if you are literally 3 decisions away from a completely different financial reality, and every day you spend consuming content about passive income instead of building something is a day you hand your future self a smaller inheritance? What if today is the day you stop believing the lie and start building the truth? Because I am about to show you exactly what that truth looks like. And I promise you, by the end of this, you will never look at passive income the same way again.